Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Marvin Fuentes, the founder of Fowntin AI. We're helping businesses save time, automate operations, and increase profits. Today, I am joined by Alexander Cianelli.
How you doing,
Alexander,
man?
can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Alex Cianelli. I own Alexander Exteriors. We are in central New Jersey. We do everything exterior design and build as far as hardscapes, landscapes, fences, and then decks and decorative outdoor construction features like TV walls and stuff like that.
Got it. And how long have you been doing this for?
We're in year seven. We're
Year
in year seven.
seven. And what inspired you to start this business?
So I was actually in warehousing and logistics. So I was sitting behind a desk. My mother was in that field. I was sitting behind a desk doing imports and exports of flowers actually from Portugal. And then I switched to doing molding from the Middle East. And I eventually just hated sitting behind that desk. And at the time, I was living at home. My parents asked me to build them a fire pit. I had never done anything like that. I went to Home Depot, bought the block, built them a fire pit. And about a week later, I put in my 2 weeks notice. And that was my career. Put in my 2 weeks notice. My father had a little Lowe's trailer, and I bought a beat up $1,000 Dodge Dakota. And that was it. By myself, started the business.
Well, everyone knows there's a lot of things that come with starting a business, but what was probably the biggest surprise to you in the other days?
In the earlier days,
Yeah.
oof, in the earlier days. Well, I mean, you notice you learn more the bigger you get, but you can't do everything by yourself. That was the first thing. You think your prices are going to be X, but then you realize, okay, this is taking me 3 days. I got to hire somebody, and now your profit gets cut in half. Honestly, I'd say expenses. I'd say if you want a legitimate business, because I know a lot of guys running big businesses that are not legitimate, but if you want to be a legitimate business as far as the right insurances and paying your taxes and employees paying them correctly, the expenses will sneak up on you for sure.
Now let's fast forward. What does a typical day look like for you now?
Typical day, I'm up and coming to the office. I have, 15 people in the office waiting on me. We'll have a quick morning meeting. Everyone will get their job lists for the day, where they're going or if they're continuing the job they were already at. Everyone will get out the door. I have meetings, whether it's, Zoom calls or estimates or just appointments, till about 2 o'clock. That'll be from 9 a.m. till about 2 o'clock. After that, I'll try to go to the gym if possible, kill an hour of my day there. And then I'll eat for the first time by around 3 o'clock, check up on all the guys again, check into my office, and then go pick up my son at 5 o'clock every day, like clockwork.
Now, how was your day to day in the early days?
Oh, that was rough. I mean, the early days, which a lot of guys will know, it was me by myself. So I was answering the phone, I was sending the estimates, I was doing the job, and there are a lot of one-man shows that have been doing it for 20 years and they thrive that way. But I definitely have more of a growth mindset. So in the beginning, my day-to-day was I wake up thankful that I have a job to do that day. And even if it was raining, I was doing that job. I'd come home soaked if I had to, but you're so afraid of rubbing a customer the wrong way or not getting that paycheck that the day-to-day was me doing everything from one personal phone line. I don't even think I had a computer at the time. And it was a big change. I was 26 years old, so I was at an age where it was make or break. Like this had to work. Uh, but no, it was hustling all day and then all night trying to figure out how to get more work.
What do you think was probably the biggest decision to help your business grow?
Well, we kind of talked, we kind of touched base on this briefly prior to the podcast, but I'd say, buy back your time, the whole Dan Martell situation. When I decided to hire people to outsource these things that they're good at, to free up my own time to do things that I'm better at, changed everything. That and then honestly, marketing. I've been to a few seminars where people will ask me, because some people in the industry in my area who I buy a lot of material from, they know this, so they'll kind of call on me. I spend a ridiculous amount of money, in my eyes, for my type of local business on marketing between videography, Google ads, Facebook ads. I spend a ton, and it has paid me back time and time again. For obviously, other than good craftsmanship, good communication, quality work, all that stuff, if you want your business to go far and you're a legitimate business with branding, marketing. It's all marketing. That's the biggest thing you can do for your business in my eyes is marketing. And then if you want to continue to grow, you hire people to do those things for you.
That kind of ties into my next question. How does Alexander Exteriors get new clients, and how consistent is that process today?
So we have, I like to say 3.5 crews. So we have our landscape crew who does landscaping, outdoor lighting, drainage, and water features here and there. Well, when we get them, we love to do them, but they're few and far between. Then we have our fence and railing crew, which is luckily busy for the most part. I mean, again, it's a full crew. They're always working. And then we have our hardscape crew, which is any type of paper patio, fire pit, kitchen. And then our half is James, which is our outdoor construction, which is decks, TV walls. He works on his own as well, but also does a lot of work for us. He's our only, I don't call him a sub, but he's our half guy. Now, to do that and to keep all three crews busy, because you have fencing companies, hardscape companies, landscape companies, and deck companies. I have to fight to be like, no, call me for all these different things. And to do that, we spend a lot on ads. It's nonstop. We max out what we can spend on Google for service ads, and we're doing 2,000 a month on Facebook ads for different platforms, different types of ads, because none of these crews are ever on the same job, really. They're, today the landscape job's in this town, fence is in that town, and hardscape is on a 2-week job in a different town. And we love that if you call us, you could get everything done by us at one time, but it rarely happens. No one's spending $1 million a day. So for us to stay consistent, we always have emails coming in from Google for customer requests. And then we get probably 4 or 5 Facebook messages a day looking for work. They're not always great, right? You get some spam, you get some people that are just window shopping, but 4 or 5 a day is consistent enough that we'll book like 4 or 5 estimates off that a week, 4 or 5 off Google. In April, May, we're booking, it's insane. In April, May, even June, I'll do 6 to 7 estimates 5 days a week. But you got to pay to play. That's why. You're putting the money out there for ads and then you're making it back.
Which part of the business probably feels most manual or repetitive right now for you?
Oh, no, marketing, for sure. Marketing definitely feels like the easiest, you mean? Like kind of just, it flows and it keeps going?
No, I would say, let's go with time consuming.
Time consuming. We do not have a manager for the entire business. So each crew has a foreman, obviously, except for James doing, the construction side because he's his own foreman. But we don't have a manager for the other 3 crews. So this morning I went to go check on the hardscape crew doing a paper patio. Then after that, I went to go check on the electrician in another town. And I don't have somebody to do that. So running around checking on those guys is definitely the most time consuming because I have a secretary taking care of everything in office. The crews have their foreman, and I do have, I wouldn't say a silent partner, but somewhat of a partner who helps me here and there when needed. So managing all the crews at their jobs to make sure everyone's good, things are going according to plan. That's probably my biggest struggle.
What's one thing you wish you could probably automate completely in the business or delegate?
That is a loaded question. So I have, let's see. So I have Dana in office taking care of, invoices, markouts, permits, taxes, all that fun stuff. I have Dan, the videographer. He goes out, takes videos of all the jobs, sends me the content. I hate that I post my own content. I mean, that's one thing. I do have this amazing videographer and editor, and he sends me everything. And then, at night, whether it's 2 days a week, 4 days a week, I'm writing this post description and then posting it on Instagram and Facebook. And that would be nice if that could be taken care of. And I know it's not something expensive that has to get done, but if I had somebody doing it and it was a little less stress off me, maybe we could post 5 nights a week and on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, Snapchat, X, everything, rather than just two platforms to really get our name out there. I'd say other than a manager for all the crews, I'd say social media management would be my biggest thing.
KPIs do you currently focus on with the business?
As far as
Like, what's probably the biggest metric you focus on?
what brings in the like,
Yeah. Or maybe it's like even time spent on jobs. What do you feel is the most important metric in the business for you?
it's hard. I'd say, I mean, you know what, time spent on job is good. That seems to be an issue for actually just one of my crews. To be fair, just one of my crews. Time spent on job seems to be the hardest issue, and then random things kind of coming up throughout the job that I didn't know about, like there'll be $600 spent on something that, oh, we had to fix this. Well, I didn't know about that, so that was $600 out of the job that the guys might have spent money on a drainage system or something that they needed without letting me know.
Okay.
I'd say the landscape crew is my most profitable. The fence and hardscape kind of being at an even point. The hardscape is just a lot more stressful and a lot more, again, random things come up that I didn't know about. And we just did a job that was supposed to take 3 days. It took 5. Now there was an unforeseen issue, which I totally get, but that's probably the most stress when it comes to money on a job. That seems to happen often, but there's only so much you could do about it.
So with that being said, there's probably one part of the business that you feel like you have least control over. Is it maybe like probably not lead gen, but maybe follow-ups, project management, or like customer satisfaction?
I would say follow-ups. Follow-ups is rare, so that's definitely, I can't even say we have any. Like, we send an estimate out. That's pretty much it. If we hear from you, we hear from you. If we don't, we don't, which I know is terrible. But it's just that we have such a big volume of estimates and jobs that that's one thing that's definitely hard to do. Is, hey, we sent your estimate. Sending, at the end of the week, 50 people, hey, just checking in is, I guess, something that we should work on, but we definitely don't have now. And then, other than that, it would just be project management as a whole, someone to do all of them. Now, there are certain systems that, like Company Cam and even Jobber, which we use, you can send up follow-ups, but it becomes a lot.
Yeah.
It becomes overwhelming. Even again, because I have a marketing person who runs all my ads, at least. Like, she's my SEO person. She does my ads, my website, my Facebook ads, social media ads, all that stuff. Then I have my videographer, my secretary, and myself. My foreman, they're strictly on jobs. They are, instructing the guys what to do, getting the right material, making sure the job comes out the way it's supposed to. But again, having someone to manage them would be a huge plus.
You mentioned systems earlier. Is there any system or process that you implemented that made a big difference in the business?
Process. I mean, kind of like a face-to-face process is definitely, the morning meetings morning meetings, going over the jobs for the day and checking in with everybody to see concerns they might have, how they're feeling about this job. Is there anything you want to talk about? We're really on top of our employees as far as how's the job going and are you happy? That made a huge difference. Showing me care. We definitely have systems in place as far as, like invoices going out same day. And then as far as the marketing, we have like a wheel going. It's nonstop. The marketing wheel, that system has been huge. That really, to give you an example, we are booked for, it is the third week of October? Second, 3 October. And we are booking for the hardscape crew the middle of June. So we're still going to market for them. We might split the crew up in the spring when it gets crazy, but I don't have to worry about work for 8 months if I really don't want to. Our landscape crew, they're booked till December 15th with no leaf jobs. We don't do any leaves. We don't mow. We don't pick up leaves for drainage, some cleanups kind of stuff like trimming, low voltage lighting, stuff like that. We're booked. And the marketing wheels really, to me, it'll change every business. You have to spend the money. You can't be really worried. You gotta find the right company if you're gonna do it with somebody else, but that's what'll change your business. You don't have marketing, you don't have brand recognition, you don't have trust, you're not gonna get the reviews because you don't have the work. So for me, the biggest thing was definitely marketing.
If you could wave a magic wand to instantly improve any part of your business, what would it be?
Magic wand, that is any part of my business. I mean, again, I'm all about a growth mindset. If I could pick up a whole nother crew with a whole nother truck and trailer tomorrow just to continue to grow, that would be huge. But you know what? Because this is something I think about every single day. It would be social media recognition. It's the best way I can put it. But basically, having the attention, followers, likes, and presence on social media to where I can cut back my ads because I've got 100,000 followers on whatever platform and I'm getting likes and comments that people are calling off that. Now, luckily, when I go to jobs, my social media presence is, you see my face in every video. So I would ask them like, oh, okay, you're the guy from the video. Yeah. But that's because I was running an ad. That's why they saw it. I would love to have more social media presence without struggling every day to post constantly stories and all that stuff. So magic wand, a big social media following across a few platforms.
Creating a brand presence, essentially.
Yeah. Now my brand locally is known. Luckily, people talk about companies. There are guys much bigger than me. I have a few companies in my area that are much bigger than me. Some of them don't do all the things I do, and I don't do some things that they do. I have, two companies in the same town I'm in that are between 20 and $30 million companies. They've been around for a very long time. They do a ton of maintenance. I don't touch maintenance. I don't want to ride a zero turn. I don't want my guys on one. I don't care for it. I know there's money there, but it's brand recognition and a following to me would be what I'd change immediately. A bigger brand recognition and following.
What's one thing you hope to be better at personally, aside from the business?
Better at what? It's something that I'm working on now, and it's kind of committing to being a better version of myself. I mentioned that at one point during my day, I'll go to the gym. That's new. I've said for 2 years, I'm going to work out. And this is something that I get from mentors like, your Cardones and Dan Martells. And, to be the best person in business you can be, you have to, train the body.
Exhaust the body.
Exhaust the mind. Yeah. So, I'm trying my best to do that. I've said I was going to commit 2 years ago. Nope, fell off. I think it lasted 3 weeks. Then I said I was going to do it again a couple months ago. Fell off. About 2 months ago, I started my fasting every day, which is amazing because now that I don't eat till 2, I'm not tired in the afternoon. I'm not worried about eating in the morning. I know that I'm going to work out fasted and then eat. And I've been actually at it for like 2 months where I'm eating clean, fasting, and I'm working out every day. So I'm in the process of what I'm looking to do to kind of better myself, which is be healthier and more confident. I'll say that. But I gotta commit. It's been 2 months, which is the longest I've actually done it for. I gotta stick with it. And that's the hardest part because you have a wife, you have a baby, you have the business, you got a bunch of employees who are, where am I going? Payroll's gotta get paid. So committing that time to yourself, I will say it's nice. You throw on headphones, but I gotta stay with it. That's the hardest part.
Now, what's your goal with the business a year from now?
So again, right now we have I always, we have 3 full-time crews with 4 guys in each truck, 4 to 5 guys in each truck. And then we have James doing the construction side, which that side, it might grow. It might grow. It's not my main concern. I love the work he does. It keeps him busy and it really brings our jobs together. My goal would be another hardscape crew. Another crew of 4 guys, another truck, another trailer. And if that goal does happen, it's going to happen March 1st. I do things, if possible, in the beginning of the year, even with implementing new systems. I don't like doing things in the middle of the year. I feel like it throws you off. I know starting something better now is better than starting it later, but as far as the year goes, it's easier to start fresh with that new system or team. So the goal right now is for March 1st to have a fourth crew fully on the road. I can't say if it is or isn't going to happen. We're still trying to figure it out financially. Job wise, like I said, we're booked so far out. With marketing, we can get the jobs, but finding four skilled laborers, $100,000 in truck, trailer, and tools, it adds up. It adds up for sure.
What do you think is the biggest challenge between you and that goal that you have?
Oh, money. I mean, honestly, I'd say no, money and skilled labor for sure. So again, my expenses, ton of jobs, ton of work, great, all this money coming in. And people see that and they're like, wow, they're killing it. The business is doing well. But as the owner, there's only so much you can take from a business because where we have 6,000 a month in marketing. We have a huge office with a giant yard. Like this stuff all comes at an expense. So we might be bringing in a lot more work for a lot more money because we're adding the expenses. So yeah, we have credit. We don't have a lot of debt on this business at all. It's
Okay.
mainly just a few trucks, but the main issue is just making sure, hey, can we set aside $100,000 in the beginning of 2026 put towards this new crew, and how long until that crew pays itself off to be just, a profitable crew and rather than an expense.
Okay. Real quick, I want to touch up on what you said earlier with March 1st being the time to do it. You think that's an industry thing or is that the area that you're in thing?
So we're in Jersey. We're actually booked for pavers throughout the winter, fully booked. That's going to
Okay.
be a nightmare. It's not going to go well because it's going to snow. It was 35 degrees this morning here. It was cold.
It's much
And
colder over there.
it was cold. It's getting cold earlier right now. Don't get me wrong. We had a Christmas 3 years ago where I was in short sleeves. It was warm, but we think it's going to be a really bad winter. But most companies here, March 1st or April 1st is the start of their season. Our landscape and our fence crew is March 1st, but they work till Christmas. So they're going to be working till Christmas. And then they're off for January and February. And our paver crew is throughout the winter. We're booked. We can't afford to lose those customers. So we're working. If there's not snow on the ground, pavers are going down. But I think it's the area. Don't get me wrong. I know guys in the industry working down south or out west they're hustling year round.
Yeah. Are there any trends that you see coming up in the industry that you plan on capitalizing on or implementing
It's
into the
not even
business?
that I'm capitalizing or I am implementing it. It's kind of what we talked about. It's the trend is there's young guys. I mean, I'm 33 years old. I'm in the middle. I was old enough when Instagram and that kind of stuff came out and became popular that I've been on it forever. But you have your kids that are on it now that they got on it when AI is a thing and all these trends on how to go viral are right in front of their face. So the thing that's going on in the industry is that you have younger guys coming in all over social media. Like they are posting viral TikToks and stuff, and they're doing everything they can to be in front of your face. So I see it a lot with older guys in the industry where they're taking videos and you can tell they're just doing it, which I give them all the credit in the world because they're amazing companies. They're doing it just to stay relevant. They know, like, man, if I don't put out a video with me talking and showcasing my work, I'm gonna get left behind. And that's the truth. If you don't market and you don't stay with the times of social media, those two things, you're gonna get left behind. You're gonna lose jobs. So social media is really the trend that I see hitting the landscape, hardscape industry super hard.
Mm.
Obviously, for some people who have no interest in it, they never look up anything. Their phone's not going to give them that metric. But as far as I'm concerned, with the things I look up on my phone, I can't scroll on any social media platform without seeing a new landscape or a new vendor, or a new hardscape
Yeah.
company of kids in their 20s just trying to make it big, which I give them credit for. But
Yeah.
it's something that now people who've been in the industry a few more years, we're all learning how to be influencers. That's the biggest thing. We're all learning how to be influencers.
It's funny you say that because one, I do believe in that, but two, I think it was like a month ago. My mom, we asked her to look for a restaurant. I normally go to Google.
Yeah.
She goes straight to TikTok and starts looking for restaurants in the area.
Yeah. Yes. And I
And
lost a job to TikTok. I lost a job. I asked a guy, it was a beautiful patio with a pavilion and all this amazing, like these amazing add-ons. And I said to him, like, listen, I gave you this beautiful design, 3D design, and you were happy with the price. He's like, yeah, but I found this guy on TikTok. And it's a great company. The company he hired is awesome. The guy's name's Sean, phenomenal company in South Jersey. And he just said he saw this stuff on TikTok. And I think that's when it clicked for me. It was about 2 years ago. I was like, I have to do better on social media. And this customer was older and he's on TikTok. And I had never been on TikTok at the time. So yeah, no, I totally get it.
yeah, people use it as a search engine now. It's insane, but it is just the time that we live in now.
Yeah,
It
I will
is.
say, obviously with AI coming in, I did see a company last week that I'd never heard of. So I know they're new in the area. I looked into them. And again, I am a big believer that there's so many amazing companies in my area that do what we do. So there's never any hard feelings. If you get a job over me, do the job and do it good. Like everyone should make money their own way and do well. But this company I never heard of was running an ad, and it was fully AI. But it was noticeable. It was a woman saying, "Hey, look how great of a job this company did," and people knew it was AI, and it's not a good look, in my opinion. People could see that this is not a house in New Jersey. It doesn't look like it's this state. The woman looks a little fake, and the way she's talking is almost too perfect. But that's the negative side to using AI, I think. I think they kind of took it too far. Now, as far as I'm concerned, because again, social media and AI are the things that are coming in really hot right now with every industry, not just the outdoor industry. I have the paid version of ChatGPT, and I created a shortcut to where I just click on the icon on my phone, and it just brings me to the voice, like the talk to text with
Mhm.
ChatGPT. And as I'm driving, we'll just shoot ideas off each other for a half hour. That's it. And then when I have a video I'm ready to post, I'll tell her, hey, because she knows my business now.
Mhm.
ChatGPT knows my business inside and out. So I say, hey, I'm going to post a video of this Cambridge patio with a fire pit and TV wall. And there's this funny part. Can you give me a description? I don't do anything. It sends it over. I copy and paste it, and that's it. So there's more ways to use it, I'm sure, like that of, but we're slowly starting to implement it as we can.
Got it. I see. If you had unlimited resources, what's probably the first change you'd make?
Unlimited resources, you said? Limited resources. It would be, first thing would be for someone to grow my social media following. I've met with a few people. Daniel Lies out of California. I met with one of his people to grow our social media following. It's a very expensive program. It's almost guaranteed, I guess, but it's very expensive. That would be my first thing. And that you kind of just sit and let it bake, right? You give them the tools they need and they let it bake.
How
Other than
expensive
that,
is that program?
it is $30,000 if you pay up front,
Holy shit.
or $36,000 if you pay in installments. Yeah. That's the program. If, we use our videographer and our phones to take video constantly and send it to them, they make the edits and they actually post everything. By all means, it's worth it. I do think it's a little pricey, to be honest. I think it's a little pricey for what you're getting, but it's crazy. They have a $140,000 option for massive companies. I don't know who's doing it, yeah, but they have that option out there. I was heavily considering it. We are kind of taking it upon ourselves we're going to start posting 5 times a week. We're going to start doing everything to the videos that we can as far as trying to help them boost themselves without running ads on them, as far as putting like the letters and the wording on the videos, having hooks in the beginning, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a program we looked into. So first thing I would do, unlimited resources, really help that social media blow up. Because once you have that, you're good forever. It's not going away. You have it.
Mhm.
And then after that would, like I said, be that general manager. kind of give my tasks to as far as the crews and go check in on vendors, accounts payable, like in-person stuff kind of help me. Because again, you're always an employee of your own business. Until you can start a second business, you're always an employee.
How do you incorporate feedback from your customers, actually?
Honestly, I'd say it's just verbal. Personally, I check in. I check in personally with each customer at the end of the job just to make sure they're happy. Or it might not be me. For paver, anything hardscape related, I check in always myself. For the landscape crew, it's 50-50 with me and my secretary. And then for the fencing stuff, it's my partner Manny who's checking in with them just to make sure they're you could send them a review form through Jobber, or you can ask them for a review and pray they'll give you one, and then it doesn't happen. That's probably the biggest issue is getting reviews. It's a nightmare. We have 100 and I don't know, just over 100 reviews, let's say on Google. We've done thousands of jobs, thousands, so many, and I ask everybody for a review, and we have 100 and change. So that's probably the hardest thing.
If you could go back and restart your business, what are probably 3 things you would change?
I started mowing when I started the business. And after the first year, I got rid of that. I would never do that again. And that's just me. Personally, don't see the big money in residential mowing. That's just a me thing. Commercial is a whole different story. I'm just not in it. But
Do you guys do commercial?
I do commercial work, not commercial maintenance. So, we have a really good account for we have a few HOA accounts where they call us when needed. Hey, we need this taken care of. We need pavers here. We need fence around this basin, but it's sporadic. We don't have weekly accounts, but as far as when I started the business, I wouldn't have done mowing from the jump. That's one thing. I would have started marketing immediately and branding. Because again, with social media now, you see how big that is. Brand awareness is everything. And then I would have hired help earlier, I'd say. A secretary to me is everything. My secretary leaves, I would need to hire somebody that night. Because there's so many moving parts to a business that I can say for owner operators that are like one-man shows, you're not doing it all right. 100% you're not doing it all right. Or your life is a nightmare. The amount of work my secretary does in an 8 to 9 hour day, plus all the work I do as the owner, plus the foreman, you need to hire office admin, I'd say. So for me, it was no mowing, marketing heavy as soon as I had the money to do it, and hiring office staff. For sure.
Does she also take the calls?
Takes calls. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Takes calls. Yeah.
She's got a big role.
Yeah. So she takes all the calls, takes all the calls that come in, gets all the social media messages, gets all the Google, ad requests, answers all of them. So calls, messages, emails, texts, all that stuff. Then she'll book the estimate. She'll input the estimate for me to go to. Then if they call back after they get the estimate and they want the job, she'll put it on the schedule. Other than that, every job needs a mark out. We don't want to hit a gas line, electrical line, a cable line, anything like that. Does that. If it needs a permit, we'll have a permit meeting once a week, every Thursday night, go over all the jobs that need permits, figure out what to do about them. And then she does time clocks. She does that for all the guys. These are a lot of things that even just for me would be a lot. When we have, we have an event going on, a fall festival this weekend, she helps with that. Again, to be fair, it's an 8-hour, 9-hour day, depending on the day of the week. And also depends on the time of the year. Right now, it's a lot, but she's okay. It's not too bad. But no, March, April, May, June, it's work. Me and her are both in the office getting everything done. And then I'm working late, checking on the guys. It's a lot.
What advice would you give to somebody just starting out in your industry?
Concentrate on jobs over maintenance, on actual, installation, renovation jobs over maintenance for residential, again, because I see people that have successful just residential and I see what they make. And, we'll do a $3,000 job with 3 guys in a day with little to no material cost. And, you're running around in a $60,000 truck, a $10,000 trailer, $10,000 mowers, all these guys, and you're profiting $15 a house for all that. You know, you have fuel. For me, it would be concentrate on large scale jobs because from there, word of mouth is good for anything, but once people start seeing you're doing those jobs, referrals, even by word of mouth, will be pretty quick.
Question, how do your largest jobs come about?
I'd say it's 50-50 from social media marketing. Google's great because Google, they're looking for you. So they typed in, paper patio or koi pond build or something near me, and our local service ad came up. But social media, when we post an amazing video of a job that we did of this, there's a pool with a patio and a kitchen, a pavilion, it's in their face. They're like, oh, they do this kind of work. This looks great. Let's go see the reviews. The reviews are all great. That's how we get the bigger jobs. And then, word of mouth here and there. If we did, Bobby's patio and it's really nice, he'll tell Billy next door and it came out great. And that's once in a while. So I'd say Google is more of they're looking for you for a specific job. Social media was they were thinking about a big job. They saw my video. They called me.
Okay. Alexander, one last question for you. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Yeah, of course.
When you think about where you want to be in the next few years, what kind of support or tools do you wish existed that would help you get there faster?
I need to be completely hands off. I again, being honest, it's a loaded question because I need to find a way for this business to run itself. There's got to be, again, systems in place that I can step away for honestly as long as I want. If I can get one phone call a day, that's ideal, right? Either I'm in a different business or I'm not, or I'm just letting the business run itself. As far as tools that could be in place, job tracking is a big thing, which we kind of have down now. Things would just have to be automated. I can't put my finger on one thing that would be, because, we really do track so much. We track our job costing, to an extent, because things come up, we do our timesheets, all of our trucks are GPS. I know how long guys are at every job. I would try to just have to find a way for the crews day to day to be more automated. For my guys to be able to come in, get what they have to do very descriptively and get out to the job without me having to, I don't want to say babysit because they're an unbelievable group of guys. They're all very, very good at what they do. But, just for them to kind of be on their own without me having to manage them as much. And I don't know what that would look like. That's the thing. I don't know what I could possibly put into place for that.
Alexander, thank you so much for taking the time here today. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, so we are on, let's see here. So we're on Instagram. So Alexander Exteriors NJ on Instagram, and then Alexander Exteriors Outdoor Services on Facebook. And then hopefully, we started up a TikTok. Hopefully we'll get on top of actually managing that in the next coming weeks. But, we try to post content a lot. We've met with other business owners in the area trying to kind of grow a little bit. And again, I don't want to take credit for, as this big company, because we do really well. We're lucky to be booked up as we are, but there are guys doing way bigger numbers, with more crews and more jobs. But, ultimately, but they're still working in the business. Ultimately, I would love to talk to people about, getting out of the business, kind of like me and you touched on briefly prior to the podcast, building this beautiful company that you do care about, but being able to step back and watch what you've grown kind of just flourish and run itself. So, if anybody ever wants to, I'm always up for talking about growth and, the buying back your time method and all that fun stuff. Marvin, thank you.